Getting ready for another week of racing over at Woodbine, coming off that big King's Plate Sunday last week. It was a record-breaking day with handle. So a lot of you have some money left over. You made some money last week at Woodbine. Let's roll it on over and let's talk this week's Thursday card at Woodbine. Remember, they have that late post, 4:50 p.m. Eastern time for first post at Woodbine, and that $50,000 guarantee in the early pick 5 starts in race number 2. We are going to dive into the daily racing form past performances. DRF.com is where you can purchase. But if you're a DRF Bets account member, you don't even need to purchase past performances. You will get those for free. If you're not a member of DRF Bets, go right now and sign up. Use the promo code WINNING, and they will give you up to a $250 deposit match bonus. You want to max that out. So deposit $250 right away. They'll give you $250 back, so you'll have $500. They'll also give you a $10 free bet just for registering, so you'll have $510 there. Then they're going to give you 10 free formulator past performance cards. A card is one track. We will be looking at one card right now for Woodbine. You'll get 10 of those stacked up immediately. Then every time you bet $50, you'll get another one of those. As if we're playing the races, if we're wagering a lot of money, we won't have to be spending money on past performances at DRF Bets. Let's get into Woodbine for Thursday, August the 24th. Shout out to my sister Chanel. It's her birthday on August the 24th. Race number 2 is when that pick 5 begins. A couple horses on my radar in here. They're going 7.5 furlongs on the turf course. I thought the 7 a little bit intriguing in this one. Doodah, who is 15-1 on the morning line. This gal pushed through kind of in between horses to 5th. She was 3 lengths off. She was down on the inside. There was just not a ton of room down there. And that was her first start in 10 months. Since October. She needed the race. She can take a nice step forward now. Second start off the bench. I think she's a bit sneaky in this spot. The horse to beat, Roses Are Free. She pushed through from the rail to lead. She still had the lead about 100 yards from home. Faded reluctantly. That was her first start on the turf. That was her first start at this level. So she fits very, very well. I think she's the horse to beat. 7-1 all over for me. Then you want to go a little bit deeper. Other horses I might look at, the 4, Smokin' Chloe. She gets back to turf and now has to go 7.5 again. She had a fast start in that most recent race. That was on the synthetic. She was in the 2-path, sitting just off a long shot, and they opened up like 6 lengths. She did get passed by the 2 closers, but she won the battle for third that day. No real knocks on her overall. You know where she'll be forwardly placed in here. Others, the 8, Fraulein Victoria. She was in a race last time out where it looked on paper like she was going to be lone speed, and then she completely missed the break. And the horses who were 1-2 in that race were 1-2 all the way around. The runner-up, Menagerie, came back to win. So I'd imagine they want to be more forwardly placed in here. Expect them to be a little bit aggressive today with Fraulein Victoria. She ran into some traffic in that race too after that slow start. It just was not a great trip overall. The 6 horse, I'd even give her a little bit of a look. Sandy Gray. She's only been on the turf one time. Her recent races, she can pass some horses. They're not races that jump out off the page, but she may be passing horses at a point in this race when a lot of these horses could be backing up. I could see the 6 horse at least hitting the board in an underneath spot. Let's 7-1 all over, 4-8-6 others that I would look at as we move to race number 3. And this one is a $7,500 non-winners of 2 claimer. I'm going to look at the 3, Forest Maiden right off the bat. The blinkers come on. She had a fine start, but she was in some traffic, and then she backed up in between horses. She adds the blinkers. She drops. She gets back to the synthetic. If she has anything close to that May 25th performance against 25 claimers, I mean, she wins this race. The number 3, Forest Maiden, 6-1 on the morning line. I'm using in the pick 5 for sure. Others to include the 8, Smart Bids, the 8-5 favorite. That's the horse to beat. looking at both of those races most recently, they're good efforts. It's not like she was the the beaten favorite in those races either. She wasn't supposed to win those, and she might. She is supposed to win this race. She's the horse to beat. She's drawn well. She cuts back now so she can sit nicely just off the pace from the outside. 3-8 for me. The 4 would be another I would look to include. That's Social Drinker. She was last, about 7 lengths off. She made a big wide move all the way up to within about 2 lengths, and then she flattened out. She'll drop. She'll cut back. She will come running, but 5.5 could be a tad short for her. 3, 8, 4. Others, if you want to go deeper or use underneath. The 2, Devil in Her Heart. The last time this horse was on the synthetic at Woodbine on November the 24th, that's not a terrible effort in a similar type spot that not $9,500, $10,000 non-winners of 2. And the 7's another hot omelet. Now, the blinkers come on, and she could be one of the quicker in here. So maybe at least an underneath type horse, or if this is a spread out race for you and you're looking for some long shots, maybe this is one who can at least catch a flyer and be in the mix early on. 3, 8, then 4, then 7 and 2. I always kind of go through all the horses on my radar. Some horses are more underneath. Some races are spread races. I never know how much you're playing. That's why I usually don't put out tickets myself, because for some people they play $2, others pay $2,000. It's all really irrelevant when it comes to, how much you're spending. For me, it's really about the 1 or 2 horses in each race that are the key horses for me. It's really about the horses that are maybe not on everybody's radar that I think I might be able to lead you to. That's what I'm trying to do here as we move to race number 4. I had a tougher time getting creative in here. Fresh Dreams might be the one to catch. She's coming out of a 5.5 furlong race on the dirt. There's just not a lot of other early speed in this race at all. The horse who I'm expecting to show more early speed is Bodacious Miss. She was 3rd inside early on in that last race. She just had nowhere to go. She was behind the leaders. She was in that second flight. She got shuffled back badly to last of 6, and then she came on again, but she had to kind of move through the rail, and she couldn't push through. It was unlucky. That was against much better. She's going to be a short price in here. Wicked Mia would be, I guess, maybe the priciest of the horses I like. She got squeezed back just after the start. She was 8th out of 9 early in that last race. And then she moved up to 7th. She was about 6 lengths off. She moved inside. She tried to angle in between and around up to 5th. She wasn't that far out of 3rd overall. I think the race is better than it looks on paper. 5-4-2 for me. Nothing too creative. I think the 1 might be in a tough spot because I don't know how much early speed there is in this race. So I don't know if the 1's going to be able to get the kind of trip that they need without a whole lot of early speed. I think the 2 can sit pretty close. I think Wicked Mia can sit a little bit closer, especially because that last start, there was a bad beginning. And hoping the 5's on the front end here. 5-4-2 for me in race number 4. Moving to the 5th race. This one is 5 furlongs. It's $25,000 claimers. These are 3-year-olds and up at 5 furlongs on the turf. To me, the 5's the horse to beat, Ghoul, even though he's stepping up a little bit here. He's an 8-year-old, and this is just a good trip for him. 5 on the turf. He sits nicely. He fell right into it last time out into winning that race. He was sitting second. He was asked for one run. He just sort of wore down, just like the comment line says, wore down that leader in between horses. And the horse he beat came right back to win next time out. Non-winners of 3 over at Fort Erie. When you're using the DRF formulator past performances, you can always click on the chart and see that the horse came right back to win in their next start. So Ghoul, I think you have to use based on the trip he will sit. because he puts himself in a nice spot. He doesn't have to be too far out of it. He has some tracking positional speed. Another race where I had a tough time getting super outside the box. The one to me is a horse who's going to sit a good trip also. Because I think it's between the one and the outside horse for who gets the lead. It's probably one and Emicrack. I guess the 4 could be in the mix too. I don't think he's quite as fast, but he does have the blinkers on, and he has shown good speed even in sprinting. This is a little bit different, though, 5 on the turf. So Napa Spirit, because it's not a big field and because there's maybe 2, 3 speed horses at max, I don't know if the rail will be as much of a hindrance to him as it normally is with a horse in a turf sprint when there's a big field. If maybe they have that type of running style where they could be showing speed, maybe sitting kind of in between horses. So Napa Spirit, I could see very easily letting one of the horses go and then just getting off the rail and sitting in a nice spot in second. Class dropper, lost to a horse named Silent Reserve. And let's look at how good Silent Reserve has been. This is a horse who went on and was in a stakes race and just finished second, beating the neck on August the 5th. I'm going to go 5-1 all over the place. I mean, 6 is the next obvious horse. I just don't like as much as the others. 3, Western Trouble will come running, but as you can see with Western Trouble, this horse just does not win a ton. Lots of seconds, lots of thirds, lots of finishes behind some of these common rivals. 5-1 all over for me in race number 5. Let's finish this pick 5 for Thursday. They're going to go 1 mile and 1/8 in race number 6. We have 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 other than the maiden claiming restricted allowance, 1 mile and 1/8 here. 4 and 3 are all over for me. The 4 Warcourt gets the trip because Kerouac, he's the horse to catch and beat, but he may have to deal with company from a few others. Like the 1 Dolder Grand can be forwardly placed. The 2, like the King, he's got some backlash too. Remember, he was in the Derby. He's a grade 3 winner. He can show some speed if he wants. Kerouac, he's going to go because that's worked out so well for him recently. And then the 5, he always wants to go. So in this small field, it's just a field of 6. I could see combinations of 1, 2, 3, 5. Even look at the 6 Last Dawn. And now they're going to be at 1 mile and 1/8. I could see him being forwardly placed in here and wanting to be close up. So in this field, there could be a lot of these horses maybe jockeying for position, all trying to stay with each other early. Could set up very nicely for the number 4 Warcourt. Ron Yearking from DRF, Daily Racing Form, has an article about Warcourt and sort of kind of detailing that this horse could be getting a nice trip. If you look at his overall form, 5 straight races on the synthetic, they've all been in the money. Now he's going to make the 3rd start off the long layoff, 3rd start of the form cycle in a race like this where he gets the trip. And when you watch him visually, he's really starting to get into his best stride late. He looks like a horse who should have no problem going this distance and going even farther. The number 4 Warcourt, that's the play for me at anything 4-1 or above. The 3 Kerouac, because of the possibility of him just running away from this field and hiding, I'm going to use the 4 and the 3 everywhere. The next tier would be the inside 2 for me. They're wild cards because of their ability to sit close. They're just not win machines. No, Dolder Grand, the 1 is 0 for the last 8. Like the King is 0 for his last 16, but he's a grade 3 winner. He's faced some good horses recently. Look at a lot of the horses who have been sharp, who he hasn't been far behind, and those horses have come back and continued to win and run well in their next few starts. 4-3 everywhere. 1-2 would be that next tier for me, but I'm going to try to go 4-3, closing out the pick 5 there on Thursday at Woodbine. Best of luck Thursday at Woodbine. And remember, every day that Woodbine is racing, we'll have some analysis for you with some videos. If you follow me on Twitter, it's me, Gino B. We'll always have some plays for Woodbine, also have segments on the podcast. We'll bring in guests to help us handicap. Every day Woodbine is racing, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure to look for some help when you're playing the races. It's always free. It's me, Gino B. Good luck this week, starting on Thursday over at Woodbine.